Welcome to the final part. This is part 7. We'll be talking about the Composer of Man arc. I am going to try to be super not crying. I was getting a little teary-eyed while making the slideshow of this. I'm also going to go on my knees. 6 parts of standing have really hurt. So my legs have started to get weak. I've been doing some walking and stuff to really space this out, but here we are, the Composer of Man, the final arc, the conclusion of that Teria Akazusha Mian storyline. It does not fully resolve everything of the world. It leaves an open-endedness for a sequel that I mull over a lot of how I'd want to write the sequel to talk more about the other 2 countries. But Akazusha Mian, Teria's story ends with this arc. This arc is a lot. There's a lot of fighting, and a lot of it I tried to summarize, so we didn't just have to go like, this person threw blades, and... Okay, where are we? Saraki stands across from Kai. Kai the Wisher. Her right leg has been shot, but she's still standing, strong as ever. She opens her mouth and begins an attack of shards of glass, and then mixes in, she starts rolling out barbed wire from her mouth. Spins sharp stuff. The glass shoots at Kai and is cutting him up, and the barbed wire is unrolling through the air and is hitting the ground. Her feet make contact with his face, and she kicks him in the eye. He would have laughed it off because he didn't think it hurt that much, but it hurts a lot. And he realizes that with her own feet, she stepped in the barbed wire, barbed her own shoes, and has now barbed wired him to the face. Kai summons a wish card, full heals himself. Saraki is upset by this, and Kai laughs at her and is like, come on now. You're gonna go say something like, that's not fair? Like, all is fair in war. And Saraki's like, yeah, but I mean, I can't do it, so really you're just full healing, and I'm taking damage. But she continues to fire glass shards in all directions, breaking through. Kai tries illusions again, breaks through the illusions. Meanwhile, again, Terra and a no-number Akane are just sitting on the sideline watching. Shards of glass from Saraki come towards them, actually, and suddenly the shards of glass are knocked to the ground, and they're like, oh my gosh, is Kai protecting us? No, it is not Kai. It is toothpick-like paper blades have guarded them. It's Karna is nearby. She's getting close. And Akane wonders out loud to Terra, you think she's going to insert herself into the fight? And Terra's like, do you think Kai would let him into the fight? Because Kai's enjoying himself fighting Saraki. We don't know if they'd like Karna to intervene. And they said it's a good point, but one big strike from Karna and Saraki together would probably be enough to take Kyle, right? And Terra says she doesn't know. And suddenly, a miracle happens, and the entire room begins to shake as a giant earthquake begins. This earthquake is the floorboards breaking apart as a giant paper blade, followed by another paper blade, break through the wall, crashing into the ceiling as they continue to go up. Kai and Saraki fall through the floor into the abyss and go towards the entrance to the castle. They're no longer upstairs. They're now on the main floor. This is noted to be separate than the last time Karna did this, where she broke through the floor. This is not the one that made Aoko/Kenya disappear. This is not the one that killed Ricky. This is just her using another attack. Just another attack. She's attacked something, and that attack went through the ceiling and has attacked them. Kai and Saraki fall through the floor. Akane and Terra are caught by a giant paper blade, like a surfboard size, and are caught by it. Saraki is able to create a number of things to break her fall. Kai does not, and he hits the ground really hard, and all his limbs are busted, all his bones are broken, and he's bleeding out of every hole. But he just, he begins to full heal. He begins to full heal himself when suddenly paper blades come crashing through from what was the floor where they were fighting. Now it's coming downward and just piles onto them. Tons and tons of all different sizes of paper blades crash into them. And a thump echoes as paper swords land on top of each other, crushing Kai along with Saraki. So there's a silence. Everyone's silent. There's a silence. Is Saraki and Kai okay? The paper blade with Terra and the no-number Akane slowly floats to the ground as they hear a click, clack, click, clack. The sounds of heeled shoes walking or echoing through the chamber of destruction. And it is Karna. She's walking out from the shadows of a nearby hallway. She had taken shelter from this crash. Terra and Akane, their paper blade reaches the ground. They say, Karna, way to go. That was so cool, but they also note that something off is about Karna. And it's like, call it Karna, like, is something wrong, Karna? I don't mean to be rude, but I don't know, it just seems like something's off. And Karna nods with a sigh. She walks back over to the hallway where she'd been to take cover. Her heels click as she walks across the broken floor, and she returns back to Tara, now carrying a handful of brown sacks. Tara's like, what are in the sacks? And she throws one to Akane and Tara. And Akane looks into it and looks up with a sick expression. She goes, well, Karna, what are these? And bluntly, Karna just goes, it's the others. And Karna drops another 2 sacks to the ground and says, these are 2 Akanes. I don't know who they were, but maybe they're the real Akane. And the Akane with Tara, the last no number, begins to vomit. She's sick. She's like, how did you do this? Where are the others? Is any of these Akane 6? Last I saw her, she'd fallen to the castle. Did you kill her? And they're like, no, it's not her. I found 2 other Akanes. Those are their hearts in case they're the real Akane. And Tara's like, dang, you cut these hearts out? And she goes, yeah, I need to pass the brands on. So of course we need to pass their demon brand. Guess that means on the last no number. This final Akane is like, she really is the final no number. She really hopes she's the real Akane. She notes that the last Akanes left are her, Akane 06, and Akane 05. They're the final 3. There are only 3 Akanes left. When we began, there were 9. Now there are only 3. So a third of them are left. Karne drops another sack and kicks it over and says, this one's Toshi, and the other one's Ricky. And she looks over to Akane and says, I'm sorry, Akane. I know what it's like to lose a partner, but I mean, you lost 2 partners, so you lost your whole family, and it really sucks. I'm sorry. The ground begins to shake again as something moves from under the ground. Karna prepares herself for another fight. Piacio raises from the rubble from the castle. He floats over to Karna with his eyes spinning around with excitement. As he says, Karna, you've gone and killed William. William died in that. I didn't mention he was one of the people who fell, so William is dead. He was currently the God Hand William. He's now fallen. He died in that crash. And so Piacio says, since you killed him, you are now the holder of Wish Card 200. That's me. And anyway, Wish Card 200 is yours now. You took it fair and square. Piacio's eyes spin around, and his slots begin spinning. And he says, the thing about you, Miss Karna, and his slots are spinning really fast, his pupils are shaking, he's getting excited. The thing about your worth, and the image of the slot machine, it stops on of a grabbing hand, a crown, and a glowing eye. Those are the images on his slots. And Piacio's eyes focus back on Karna, and he says, the thing about you is, I think right now you're the most powerful being to ever exist in this moment. Right now you're the strongest person in all 4 lands. And Karna's like, dang. And Karna says, well, you know what? If William was the God Hand, then I'm the composer of man. And it's a music thing. Got more, now with Wish Card 200, she has all Wish Cards under her. So that's pretty exciting. Another thing, Piacio said that in that rubble where she just crushed the level, crashing a bunch, he announces that Genta has died. And Piacio spits out Wish Card 197 Divine Luck. It's yours now, because you killed him. So Genta did die in that last explosion, because Karna's been cutting up the floors of all the castles, so something killed her. And Karna picks up the Divine Luck and picks it up and drops to her knees and says, what's happening? And Piacio laughs and says, that'd be the effect of you holding a wish card that is, you're not allowed to have a demon brand and a wish card. But I can fix that. And Piacio just fixes it. And she's like, what'd you just do? And he's like, I just changed the rules. And she's like, you can do that? And he's like, yeah, I'm Piacio, the wish giver. I make the rules, I change them. So now you're allowed to hold Divine Luck. That is just, you know, I guess, maybe you call it a retcon, maybe you don't. But now Karna's able to. Before, Divine Luck couldn't be held by anyone, but the rules can be changing when you're the one with freaking Piacio. She looks over to Tara and Akane and says that she doesn't plan to eat those hearts as long as those students are around, and asks where the students are. And Tara's nervous and says she won't say where the students are. Piacio says, hey, if you're gonna eat any demon brands, you should probably eat stomach storage before the girl. He's talking about Saruki. He says you should probably eat Saruki before she kills herself. And Karna's like, oh, she's still alive. I'll finish her off before she escapes. So she begins to dig through the rubble, and Piacio warns her that if she's too slow, Saruki could pose a real threat. And so she continues to dig through the rubble, and she finds the guts of William and whatever remains of Kai. Kai remains. Kai is dead. I'll just be upfront. What was left of Kai could have come back, but because William is now dead, Kai is just a corpse now. He's going to turn to dust in a second, but he hadn't turned to dust at this point. He's slowly disappearing because William's dead. That was the part of the contract he's done with his summon. Sarki lies in 2 halves, and she's missing her lower half and an arm, and she's only a torso with 1 arm and 1 eye. And she's fiercely reconstructing herself with sacrificial resurrection. Karna stood over her, and Sarki doesn't even look up from her work and is focusing entirely on survival. She's going to survive this. It really isn't over, you know, is what Sarki mutters. And Karna laughs and says, I minced up your other arm and your lower half. You can't reattach them at this point. Look around us. You're all that remains of yourself. What else remains of you is just blood and guts, and you're not able to repair those with sacrificial resurrection. You've got to find something else. You've lost this. And Sarki says, well, actually, I've been spreading hydrogen sulfate for 5 minutes now. I think I'm the one who's won. And Karna feels her heart skip a beat as she's nervous. She didn't plan for that. She looks to Terra and Akane, and they're fine. Piacios speaks up and says, hey, I actually canceled that out. I didn't want my new master dying so soon. I want to see this is going. And Sarki's like, cheater, you know? What a way to cheat. That's not fair. Sarki then glares at her and says, I'm not dead yet. I'm going to kill all 3 of you, and if I don't kill you, Cordelica will kill you. He always saves me, always. He'll be here any minute to rescue me. And Karna starts laughing, and a deep evil laugh, and says, I chased him off somewhere, so I don't think we'll be seeing him. And Sarki screams, he won't leave me. He loves me, and he'll never abandon me. And she screams, don't get ahead of yourself, simpleton. Metal bars begin to pierce out through her body, out of her mouth, and they're like legs when she's trying to escape. And she says, once I find Cordelica, it's all over. She lands inside a half remains of a room with rubble and uses the metal rods like spider legs, and she's escaping. And Karna sighs, and she watches as a figure in the corner of that room before Sarki appears from the edge of the room and jumps downward. This figure grabs Sarki, and Sarki allows this figure to grab her. And suddenly, as they're jumping into the room, a paper blade catches them. And now the figure's standing on the paper blade holding Sarki. And the figure steps off of the paper blade, and it is Cordelica. Sarki is held tight under his arms as he walks over to Karna. And she starts to shout, Sarki begins to shout at Cordelica, Cordelica, Dad, answer me, what are you doing? Something's wrong, what's going on? And Cordelica's face does not move, and stays on a neutral expression as he continues to walk over to Karna. Terra now begins to climb to her feet. She's getting scared. She says, Karna, what is this? Is Cordelica on our side? Why would he betray Sarki? She knows Cordelica is like a father to Sarki. He sees her like a daughter. He'd never betray her. What is going on? Karna crouches down so she's on eye level with what remains of Sarki. Sarki is still shouting, what did you do to Cordelica? What is this? Karna looks unfazed as she sighs here. She pulls a tape recorder out from her pocket and sticks it into Sarki's mouth, just like Cordelica would always do. This is Cordelica's like favorite torture tactic, is sticking tape recorders in people's mouths and making them listen. She hits the play, and Sarki listens to the tape in her mouth. The tape begins to play with static until you hear a clicking recording start. Immediately, there's the sounds of screaming of distress. Whoever was screaming was in serious pain. In between screams, the faint sound of someone begging for someone to stop. Sarki looks to Karna. In her eyes, with eyes full of horror, she can recognize the sound of the screams. Karna smiles back, and she raises her hand and shows off her fingers, and each of her fingers has puppet strings running off of them. Sarki spits the tape up, but it continues to play as it hits the ground. She begins to scream as tears run down her face. The tape on the ground begins to make words begin to be heard among the screams, and it is Sarah, please stop. I love you, Sarah. And then it stops as someone screams over that a new recording of someone going, "You're a demon, Karna." And Akane and Terra are both on their feet now, horrified as they recognize that voice who screamed as Cordelica. But Karna had just said she chased her away, and Karna says, with puppet strings around her, she's controlling Cordelica's corpse. Cordelica lowers Sarki. She creates a paper blade, and the paper blade is floating in the air in front of Cordelica. This is where Cordelica's body begins to lower Sarki and slowly lower her, skewing her onto it. Another thick paper blade appears above Sarki's neck and begins to go through the neck, going the opposite direction. It's a pincer attack. Karna emotionally lowers her finger, and in an instant the two thick blades collide, impaling Sarki and taking her head off. Piacios' eyes watch in wonder. He believes that right now Akane is the most wonderful thing to ever exist. Akane begins to list off thing to Terra. She starts to whisper: paper blades, black void, red dog, stomach storage, puppet string, sacrificial resurrection, Piacio the divine luck, maybe my spider brand. And Terra shakes her and goes, Akane, what are you saying? And Akane looks at her with a scared, tears in her eyes forming, and goes, that's all the wish cards that that Karna is holding right now. She killed Cordelica, she just killed Saraki, she showed us the sacks. If she eats them, I don't know. Piacio was trying to warn us when he said that she's the strongest being to ever exist. We need to get out of here. I don't think she's on our side anymore. And why wouldn't she be, is what Terra asked. Why wouldn't she be? And their conversation is cut short when the main gates open, the main door to the palace open, and it is Akane 05, the Demon Brand students, as well as Raiko, Izui, and Kirin. Quickly, I'll take off everyone who's just died. Cordelica, Denso, Saraki, Denso. Now I'm looking forward to pulling all these people's names off. So they're dead. Technically, there's still a no number. Akane, she's alive. Yeah, that's everyone right now. Back to it. Terra sees the students and Akane 05 appear and says, run, escape. And they just immediately start running, turning around. They all book it out of the castle, and they pass the doors as a loud roar echoes around them like another earthquake. And the hugest 400-foot blades begin to emerge through the castle. The castle is crumbling in on itself, just as Akane and Terra are able to make it out the main gate. Neutral light now floods through. The castle has been destroyed. Raiko tells Kaido that if there's anything he needs to tell Terra, this is the time. And Kaido says that he's already been rejected 10 years ago, and that it's fine, and this isn't the time. And she says, what's the big deal? You were rejected once, that was 10 years ago. We were babies when you were rejected. Things can change in that time. As they begin to approach towards Raiko, Izui, Kirin, they approach towards Terra. Kaido's going to be forced to talk to Terra, like it or not. Raiko's going to make it happen. Akane 05 and 6 take up guard positions, but then Terra tells them to stop. She wants to listen. Akane 05 pulls on them to move, and they move, and Yoshida moves in front of his mother and says, you're not talking to her. He's suspicious of Raiko. But again, Terra pushes them aside and says, it's okay, Yoshida, I need to hear what this girl has to say. And she's like, how can I help you? I don't really know if this is the time to talk. There's a monster inside the castle, just crumbled. We don't know if she's alive in there or not, but she probably is. And this isn't really the time for conversation. And Raiko bows before her, and Terra laughs that a foreigner would bow before her like she's their queen. And she says, Miss Terra, I have a friend who really needs to see you. And Terra looks around, doesn't recognize anyone who she knows. And Raiko, her back begins to gleam as Kaido creates a temporary body. And it's a skeletal body, and Terra recognizes it. And he says, hey Terra, long time no see. He's super nervous. And now let's go into the conversation. She goes, Kaido. He goes, yeah, Terra, you look good. You called me Terra. Terra looks nervously as she's seen a ghost. And he says, well, it's your name, isn't it? You've grown, haven't you, Kaido? At least a little. And he says, I have. Well, he hopes he has. And she looks sad. She goes, Kaido, I still have your skull. It's in the Demon Brand home. He goes, oh, do you? Does that mean you forgive me, Terra? She goes, forgive you, Kaido? No, I have not forgiven you, but I don't hold any malice towards you. It's been a long time. I can't forgive you for enslaving me and the things you did to me as a young girl, but you were just a kid, Kaido, and although that doesn't absolve you of your sins, I don't need to have any hatred towards you. Kaido feels bad, and he's like, I'm really sorry. And she's like, you know what? Where's that girl Mavis? I know you enslaved someone after me. That's what really hurt, is that you didn't learn from your mistake. You learned that you enslaved a little girl, a 14-year-old me, and you enslaved another girl. And he's like, yeah, Mavis, that didn't end up either. I made the same mistake again, and I enslaved another girl, but don't worry, she's gone. She's free, she's released. I hold no more people. All the people I love, and ever have loved, are truly alive, and it is thanks to you, Terra. And he looks to Anna and Alice, who are among the students. They're among them. Akane, my sister, Anna, Alice, my friends, you now watch over all of them, Terra. Thank you. You did the kind of things I could never do. Kaido turns towards Raiko, then to Izui and Kirin and says, I think you could watch over these girls as well. And immediately, Raiko's like, I don't know what you mean, Kaido. And Kirin's like, yeah, what's the deal? What's going on, Kaido? And Kaido says, look, inside there's a demon. And right now, someone needs to fight him, and I'm ready to do it. And Raiko screams, so what, you're gonna die? And he's like, yeah. Oh, no, sorry. And then Terra's like, actually, their conversation is interrupted when another explosion, another giant blade bursts out. But this one is different. It is a bunch of blades together, like a bolt. And as it gets into the air and flows towards them, it begins, they're worried it's gonna crush them, but it begins to open like a flower. I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself. Yeah, they open like a flower. It is made up of 4 blades with a centerpiece where Karna is standing. The flower opens, and Karna's the first to talk. She says, hello, Terra. Did you think I died? Because you shouldn't have. And she screams to Karna, stop this. Why do you absorb all those demon brands? All those divine wish cards? What is going on? And Karna does a little ha ha ha. Let me explain with the assistance of my co-conspirators. Co-conspirators? The other 4 blades begin to open up, made of smaller blades. They're like smaller, it was like one big flower, but then the flower's petals are made up of 4 smaller flowers that are opening up. And these are her co-conspirators. She snaps her finger. The first flower opens. It opens, and a pair of voices inside begin to speak in unison as the flower blooms. The world as we know it is nothing but a small section of the real world. The Wisher kept us all as something akin to pets, keeping the knowledge of the outside world from us. But Genopus became aware of it, and yet they still didn't share that their borders hold the only route to the outside world. Now it is time to move forward, and as the flower fully blooms, Terra and the three Akanes can recognize the voice. It is the voice of Venus and Hesper. This flower is, as well as blooming, another flower begins to bloom. And this voice comes out and says, the world is unclean and just. The people of the land are stuck in a continuous cycle of war and hatred. The only way out is to crown a true divine war emperor, and that is Karna. We have to end the cycle of hatred, and this is the way. Karna shall end the cycle by destroying all that was once evil. And in that flower is Nermosa, the divine. She's awake. The next flower begins to voice, and this one says, Lord Jiro had a vision of how to end this war and end the cycle of hate, but particular people got in the way. Lord Terra, you failed to live up to him, and so you must now be stripped of your title and allow Karna to carry on his dream. Terra, you don't understand Jiro's dream like the women like us who loved him. And who is it? It is Sasina. Sasina has teamed up with Karna over their mutual love of Jiro. Finally, Karna screams out with excitement, someone you'll never have seen coming. You didn't know they existed until Sasina told me, welcome, my final loyal subject. It is Traff of the Divine. Traff of the Divine's returned. The final flower opens up, and it is a literal 10-year-old child, and he just goes, sup, and makes a peace sign. Traff is not going to be able to do much. He doesn't have his mindscape. I'm not going to put a card up for him. Just know he's there with Nermosa. Yeah, he was reincarnated by Nermosa into the body of a child. 10 years have gone by. He's back. He doesn't have a divine mindscape anymore, but, I mean, he's here. He's going to be a real powerful ally, I'm sure. Karna looks at everyone as they look with shock and says, revived and reincarnated by his dead sister, Nermosa, Trafa was raised in Akazashimiya as a baby. Now 10 years old, he's come back to reclaim something I believe that one of you are holding on to him. And she yells and points towards Akane 05. And Akane 05 says, you want your divine wish card, kid? Come and take it from me. But she knows that he's not going to do it. And Karna sighs, and she's like, I wish you would all understand the world needs to be rebuilt. And with me and Nermosa alone, we can change everything. And she take every soul inside of a tiny world, inside our tiny world. Then Nermosa shall reincarnate everyone into a brand new world. A new world created just as Lord Jiro always dreamed. Karna looks down at Terra and says, go Terra, we don't need to fight. Take Yoshida and go live out the rest of your days in the new world. I won't harm any of you. I'll allow you to enter the new world without having to die. Won't you take me up on this offer? And Terra looks at her, looks to Raiko and says, will you fight among us? There's no shame in running. You're just kids. But if you want to fight alongside us, we'd love Kaido's power. And Raiko says, yeah, we're in it to win it. We don't think we'll actually be able to escape. The only way forward is to fight. Izumi and Kirin nod in agreement. They want to save their friends. They want to see the people at the temple again. If Karna is threatening the whole world about this whole killing everyone, then they're here to defeat the monster. Let's show these guys our full powers. When Raiko cheers, and everyone's like, yeah, let's go. Izumi and Kirin grin back. Let's show them how powerful Rinoans are. The next chapter. Karna looks down from a large flower that she's created out of the flowers now broken into 1,000 paper blades, but she's still standing on them. They're all like spinning in cool ways. And she says, this is ridiculous. There's never been someone as strong, and there's never been such a good example of a one-side fight and yet you still want to challenge me. And Sasina places her hand on Karna's shoulder and says, they're binded by their own desire. Please don't blame them for only wanting to think of their own self-preservation. They do not see our vision. She turns to Venus and says, Venus, would you put a bunch of people to sleep? And Venus says, happy to do it. And she goes, perfect, we're going to play a little game of whack-a-mole. You're going to jump through a void and kiss whoever I shoot you at. And Venus says, sound like fun. And so they begin a game of Hesper and her jumping through voids, shooting trains, and sometimes instead of trains, it's Venus kissing people. He's excited, and as they're doing this, they're about to begin this whole void dance, and they do a little thing. Hesper's like, well, can I have this dance, my beautiful wife? And Venus says, of course, you may. And they take their respected positions for a ballroom dance. As their hands meet with each other's waists, a void activates below them, and they begin this crazy dance where they are spinning around, kissing people. They kiss the no number Akane and Akane 6. She's hit, they fall asleep. Raiko and Kaido use their bone ability to create a perspective rib cage to protect them. Akane 5 kicks a paper blade with, which is headed towards Terra and knocks it away. Jemika is dodging. Anna and Alice and Yoshida were barely hit by paper blades. They're just barely cut up. It is noted that Yoshida's, one of his mechanical leg, because he has one good leg, one bad leg, and that bad leg gets cut up. Yoshida falls and is caught by Anna. This is a lot of where the confusing stuff happens, where we have to get through this weird confusing fight before we get to the main stuff. Akane 5 dives into a void after Venus and Hesper. She's flung through, crashing and onto the top of the paper blade. She has to act quickly and smartly. She makes eye contact with Venus, Hesper, and Treffa, and activates Divine Mindscape, sucking the three of them into her Mindscape. Inside her Mindscape, she'll be building a crazy puzzle to try to keep them stuck in there. Right before in the ground, Jamaku jumps through a void and is able to pull her through and catch her. And he says, you stupid idiot, I hate you, what would you have done if I didn't catch you? You seriously put on this burden on me, and I hate you. And then as they're falling through the air and Joe's catching her, Akane 5 through her sleepiness, she's from the inside the void, goes, I knew you'd catch me. And he says, what does that mean? I don't know. I guess it's a good thing I figured it out. And there's so much stress you bring to my life. I'd rather just enjoy fighting, but I freaking love it. And he brushes her hair back to the side, fixing her hair up, and he leans into her ear and says, I love you so much. And then he bites down her earlobe and says, I freaking love you so much. You're so much fun. Paper blades begin to shoot off from the peak of the flower, and they're raining down, and Reiko is dodging them and hitting them back. And Karna's sighing, she sighs as she turns to Sasina and says, I really wish I was able to pour gasoline out of my mouth like Saraki could. Too bad I don't inherit all the abilities she could use from what she ate, because her stomach demon brand requires that you've tried eating these things. So stomach storage is actually not that useful of an ability in the hands of Karna. She can't use it as well as Saraki once could, and that's unfortunate. It's just noted. She also notes that she can't use Murana's demon brand as well as she wants, because there just aren't enough souls she's collecting. She's collecting souls from all the Foss that have been killing people, but it's not enough. Kirin begins her own assault on Karna. The fight continues. Karna creates a paper blade that begins circling her, and it catches her, and bones pierce around, and there's bones, and there's paper blades, and Karna is knocked into by an attack by Sasina, and Sasina pulls her through into the Dimensional Palace to fight her alone. Izui and Reiko freak out. Kirin has been taken into the Dimensional Palace. They want to get her back. Izui looks a bit nervous, but Reiko is focused on flying. Reiko's abilities are not going fast enough. They're getting cut up. And Izui offers to give a divine blessing. And he's like, can you close your eyes, Reiko? And Reiko's like, yeah, do whatever it is, just do it fast. I trust you, Izui. And Izui comes up to her, and he prays to Nu, and he does a divine praying, and it's a healing kiss. And he kisses Reiko on the lips, and their speed dramatically increases. But Reiko doesn't know what he did. All she knows is something touched her lips, unaware that they've just shared their first kiss. On the ground, Jamaku is holding Akane 5 who's in sleep, holding people inside the mindscape. He's petting her face, enjoying her smooth lips. He sits in his lap. He's petting her head, and red dogs are appearing, summoned by Karna, and so he has to get up and to protect Akane 5. They fall through a void. As they're attacked by red dogs, a void opens underneath them, and both of them are taken away to somewhere else. Terran students are carry Akane 6 out from the danger. They're carrying her. She's asleep along with the other Akane. Red dogs begin to give them trouble, and just like Jamaku and Akane 5, voids open under them, and they're thrown away. Raiko and Izui are able to escape a void, and Raiko drops them on the ground, and is dripping sweat as Izui brushes her head and goes, "Man, you're doing great. Keep up the good work." Rest for a second. The three of them are leaning against crashed paper blades. Kaido makes a note saying, "Raiko, remember not to overdo it. All this overly stress can affect the lung I repaired. Your lung still is damaged and is not as strong as normal people." She goes, I know, Kaido. How long's it been? 7 years you telling me this. Ignore it. Kaido asks if it's cool if maybe they retreat. He'd like to save just 3 of them. Raiko says it's super annoying and that's not cool. And he's like, yeah, I just don't want you to have to go through the kind of trauma I went through war. Let's escape. She says that you're being stupid, Kaido. Why can't you let yourself be happy for once? We're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for you, Kaido. You're our friend. We're trying to protect the people you love. We're not going to let them die. Can't you just be happy? Can't the big bad Heptarian, Kaido, be happy for once? And Kaido's like, my happiness is when you guys are safe. That's my happiness right now. And right now you need to escape. I'll stay behind and I'll defend my fights. You two need to get away and try to find Kirin, because Kirin was taken away by Sasina. You have to work on finding that. And Raiko's like, dang, you don't need to sacrifice everything. You're always trying to just sacrifice yourself. Your solution to every fight is just sacrifice yourself. That's why you've died twice. Stop trying to fight so much and just let your friends help you. You're not the same Kaido you used to be. And he goes, Raiko, you're truly an optimist, trying to see the best in people. That's a great thing to have. But I plan to go out in this final fight, and I want the 3 of you to survive and be happy. I want you to grow older. I want you to have good memories. I want you to have amazing lives. Don't let my actions take your future away. And Raiko hits him mentally in her head. Raiko bites her lip and says, Kaido, aren't you going to help me for the rest of my life? You're supposed to be my companion, my guardian. So you're going to abandon me? And Kaido says, you don't need me anymore. You've got Izui and Kirin. So focus on that. You don't need me anymore. And she goes, but I'd miss you if you were gone. And he goes, I'm always a part of you. I'll always be part of your memories and in your heart. And this conversation is interrupted when Karna begins to attack again with another huge paper blade attack. Nermosa is noted to leap off of a paper blade, falling to the ground. A void opens under her, and she appears again behind Raiko, where Nermosa appears. Nermosa immediately leaps at Raiko and wraps her hands around her neck before Kaido can make a ribcage. Luckily, again, Nermosa uses her divine reincarnation, so she's not offensive. There's nothing she can do. And she goes and she says, hello, my name is Nermosa. I'm the divine responsible for putting Kaido inside of Raiko. So that's kind of neat. And she holds their neck and says, now Kaido, why don't you see the big picture? You should see the big picture right here. If you accept our plan, we can put you into a human body. We can get you out of Raiko's body and give you a new life in this new world. It's going to be a good world. She says it's a world with no wish cards, no divine, no demon brand, just people. Just normal people again. All the evil that the Wisher brought is over. And Kaido says, nah, there'd still be fighting. Your new world would find one way to fight. And she goes, look, if it was a new world, one land, united, with no enemies or war to be fought, people wouldn't, hatred would disappear. There would be no need for hatred. And everyone would have a fair chance at life. There'd no longer be the poor and the rich. There'd no longer be the unhappy. There'd just be people. And Kaido's not really having it. He's saying that Kaido believes that in the end of the day, people will always find a way to fight. And Nermosa says, look, even if people do fight, isn't it worth giving this plan a shot? Even if you believe that at the end of the day, people will find ways to fight, isn't it worth it to at least take the chance that people might? And Kaido says, look, that's beautiful ideas, but if your plan requires everyone in the world to die, then it isn't such a good thing. And Nermosa says, dang, and tries to switch her approach to win Izui over. She goes, Izui, would you like to have a female body? Because you dress like a girl, would you like a female body? Izui's like, I'm not like that. That's not how it is. I'm not a girl. And they do the whole shenanigans like, oh, you dress like one. I do, but that's for another reason. I don't want it. That's too bad. Nermosa disappears again. She jumps out saying that, like it or not, they're going to enter this new world. It's just a matter of time. We'll deal with you. But when I say we, I don't mean, I mean my companions. And suddenly, Izumi has to grab Raiko's hand as they begin running. Raiko activates her calls on Shu, and they begin flying away. They've got to get Kirin back, but also they need to defend themselves as they're being chased by Karna's blades. Izumi also says he has something he needs to tell Raiko. Raiko says, hold on to it, you can tell me after the battle. Izumi really wants to confess his feelings. He just wants to, do this, This whole, before I die, I'd like to tell you something. But Raiko's not having it. She continues to go off Battle continues. Fighting. Karna begins to cough up. She coughs up an entire door to open for Cecina. Cecina appears again after taking Kieran away and taunts them, saying that she's got Kieran, and if they want her, they gotta come fight her. But it doesn't fully work, and they land a hit on Cecina, and so Cecina disappears again. Karna summons more blades and points them all towards Raiko. She asks if you ever really thought you had a chance. Stop playing games. I'm here to save the world. Paper blades launch out towards Raiko's neck, but bones from the rib cage block that attack. Raiko's eyes look away from Karna to glance back to the ground where she left Izumi. She left Izumi on the ground when she began to fly. She sees now that area is surrounded by red dogs, and so she panics and begins to fly out looking for them. But Karna, interested and thinks she can take an advantage in this, takes a paper blade down to the ground, and using the red dogs' communication with the Red Queen, is able to tell where Izumi is buried. Izumi is currently buried underneath a bunch of dogs, so she walks over to the right pile and with puppet strings digs into the ground as if she's digging for worms like a bird between the red dogs, and pulls up her new puppet, Izumi. Izumi's body's unconscious from being buried alive. At this point, Karna is now going to use Izumi like a puppet to battle. She says, I'm not going to play games, but I am, in the end, playing the game that Cordelica loved so much during the war. I'm going to use your own companions against you. Raiko screams, get your hands off him, and Karna begins to make, a little innuendo. She's like, what, you don't want another woman touching your man? And Raiko says, he's not my man, shut up, he's just my friend, which really sucks for Izumi, I know, right? And Karna says, isn't that strange? Because I could have sworn I saw you kissing. And Raiko blushes a little, but she says, nah, that was just a friend kiss. That was just a blessing arts. That was just him helping me out, boosting my powers. There was nothing romantic about that. Obviously, there's blushing, so a little. Karna now brought Izumi up to her chest and hugs him and says, oh, my poor Izumi, forgive your friend, whatever your name is, for she's oblivious to your obvious signs of affection. Karna knows a thing or two about signs of affection, and she hugs Izumi's body, who's unconscious, and goes, maybe I should show you the love you crave. And this gets Raiko really mad. She goes, don't touch a hair on his body, and shoots at him with bones coming out of him. Karna then launches Izumi forward, controlling him like a puppet. And they're going to fight, and they begin to fight, and she gives Izumi a sword, a paper blade, and they fight, and she says that she's sorry if this ends like a Romeo and Juliet situation, but this is going to fight. And they fight, and they fight, and Raiko stood with a bayonet, we said that. Izumi begins running towards Raiko, swiping the paper blade back and forth really carelessly, as Raiko has to defend. She's playing defense not to hit Izumi, but also while defending herself. Izumi wakes up after a hit, from a blunt hit, and realizes what's going on, and a mask appears over his mouth, made of thread, to block him from talking to her. Kaido says he needs to take control of the body to win this fight, and Raiko says, if I let you do that, are you going to kill him? And Kaido goes, oh, you got me, yeah, I was going to kill him. We need to protect you. You're the one I want to protect. I said I wanted you to go off with your friends, but right now things look bad and you might die. And we need to cut our losses. And she's like, dang, Izumi's still alive, so right now, all we need to do is cut those threads off. She begins to cut threads. They just reattach. Kaido screams that I can't have you dying. Don't forget, if Karna isn't stopped here, the world will be shaped into a perfect world. We need to look at the bigger picture. And Raiko says, you know what? Izumi is my perfect world, which catches Kaido off guard. And she goes, don't you understand, Kaido? To me, Izumi and Kieran are my whole world. Why should I care about the rest of the world when my whole world is just my two best friends? And he says, dang, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, Raiko, but think of all the people in the world who are relying on us. And she goes, no, Kaido, actually, you're the one being ridiculous. And she's shouting at him and goes, Karna is right. This world is filled with evil and tons of bad people. But as long as I have my friends, I can survive in this world. But if I don't have my friends, what's the point? And maybe you are just an evil Heptarian who doesn't understand people. And that hurts Kaido's feelings. Karna is getting bored, and she wants this fight to speed up, because she really wants to get on this whole, conquering the world. Be honest, Izumi. Karna has an idea and says, be honored, Izumi, you're about to be a central part of my plan. And she makes Izumi put his hands out, and immediately blades begin to rain down on him. She's going to kill Izumi. Raiko screams, "Run! Run! Break free!" as the blades are coming towards him, and Kaido is frozen. He was talking about killing Izumi, but he just wants to be a hero. He screams to himself, "Move! Get there! Be a hero! For once, Kaido, just be the hero you've always wanted to be." Maybe he can do some good, but he's unable to. Moves her body. Her body moves out of the arena to think, and she jumps and knocks into Izumi. And the blades go everywhere. They're clanging into each other, but they roll to the ground, and they tumble as the loud clanging of all these blades hitting. And lying on the ground, the two of them lay there frozen. Even Karna, lying across the field, is frozen, watching, waiting to see what happens. Raiko's heart slows as she looks at Izumi, who is unharmed, lying beside her. A sharp pain is in her chest. She looks down. Her eyes are met with something poking out of her chest. She pokes it, pulling her hand back up, feeling blood. Paper blade sat there, going through the back of her, through the chest, and she lies beside Izumi with this blade sticking out. As tears begin to form on her face, on Izumi's face, Izumi's body is controlled as a puppet, grabs onto the handle of the blade and begins to pull it out, making much more blood come out. And the mask is blocking the throw up and sickness and screams coming out of Izumi's mouth. The strings continue to pull until entirely the blade is out, and Izumi is now bleeding out. In a state of shock, the mask releases, and Izumi is able to get out the words, "I love you." The mask and he begins to scream, "No, this isn't happening. You're going to be okay. Just hang in there." And Izumi's whole body shakes violently as Izumi tries to fight free of the strings, but he can't. And she looks to him and she goes, I liked you too, Izumi." And Izumi starts bawling, and she whispers to him, "Scream for me, Izumi." And he screams. He does, unable to do anything. All he can do is scream as he screams at Kaido, "Fix her! Fix her! Kaido, please!" Kaido begins to try to plug the holes, but one of those blades had gone through her heart. That's something he can't fix. He can fix the bones and clog skin, but there's nothing he can do. But Izumi just keeps screaming, "You have to save her. You need to save her." And Raiko whispers, "Don't worry, Kaido. Izumi already saved me." And Kaido looks around. He's confused. He can feel the pain of her body. She's not saved. And he starts screaming, "I can't save you, Raiko. What are you talking about? You're not saved. You're delusional. Izumi hasn't saved anyone." And she goes, "No, he already did. The first day we met, Izumi gave me a place to call home." She turns to Izumi and she reaches out towards him and he screams, "Raiko!" And the sword, another sword, goes straight through Raiko's heart, and Izumi's stuck with a horror face as she looks at him with the nicest smile he's ever seen, and she goes to "Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for this. It isn't your fault." And he screams, "I will save you. I'll save you. No, I'll die too. And if Karna really will reincarnate the whole world, when I die, we can reincarnate together. Just promise me you'll find me." And Raiko tears up and she goes, "If you really do die, make me a promise. Promise you'll find me." And he goes, "I swear, I'll never lose you." And she goes, "I'll hold you to it." And she grins with blood-covered teeth. Her voice gets quiet as her body begins to go cold. Izumi lets out a "Karna!" as he screams at the top of his lungs. He glares in the direction of the one who's controlling him. And inside Raiko's mind, she whispers to Kaido, "I'm sorry too, Kaido. I didn't mean it. You're not an evil person." And Kaido's like, if only I'd forcibly taken control of you, maybe I could have blocked it." And Raiko says, "No, Kaido. If you had blocked that attack and killed Izumi, I would have killed myself. My world is nothing without Izumi. So a future without him meant nothing to me. I would have died anyway. Let's bet on Karna's plan." And as she dies inside her mind, her final words are, "It's so warm," and she dies. The mind goes silent. Kaido was alone, and there were no sounds inside inside Raiko. He'd forgotten what it felt like to be all alone again, to have no one else's thought. Emptiness, we meet again. His consciousness floats in an empty space, and he realizes what he needs to do. What next? And he whispers to himself, "Forgive me, but I'm about to become the monster I've always been." Raiko's corpse begins to shake as insanely amounts of bone shoot out through her skin, like a spider. Kaido is returned in his monster spider form. Raiko's form is screaming. Izumi is screaming, watching the love of his life's body busting. Kaido is not being careful with the body. There's bones breaking through the skin. He's being very rough with it. This is catching Karna's eye. Karna's interested. Karna is excited to see Kaido show his true colors. It's a more powerful spider form than that day she saw Kaido the day Morana died. So she's excited. The surrounding area is suddenly encased in a bone cage. Bones are digging through the ground and are shooting up like spikes. Karna has to jump down from a blade as one comes towards her. She throws blades at slicing through bones, but the bones just keep going. Inside this cage, Izumi is left outside. This cage closes down until it is just Karna and Kaido. It's a one-on-one. Outside the bone dome, I like that it's called the bone dome, sorry, I forgot it's called that. Inside the bone dome, Tarek carries Akane 06 along with their students, and they're running away from the bone dome to try to escape. There's no winning this, they just have to hope to see what happens. They can feel the intense spiritual energy, evil spiritual energy that's coming from Kaido's bone dome. Karna sits on a large blade again as she looks down on him like the wild monster he is, finally showing his blades. Again, Raiko's body is getting really ripped up to shreds. He's not respecting her body at all. Izumi, on the outside, is praying that Karna wins. Because if Karna wins, there's a chance that he might be able to be reincarnated with the love of his life, Raiko. I forgot, I should probably take the Raiko card off. It's back to being just Kaido. I like that I did that. Sorry, let's see. Anyway, Kaido wants to win no matter what. He's going to win. He doesn't care what this perfect world is. Kaido is going to be the beast. He can't let Karna kill everyone, but he also wonders, what does it matter? What would happen if he's reborn? He starts to question what Karna's intentions are, but he's not going to do it. He's going to focus on just winning, and he's going to not see Raiko's body as a body. It's just his vessel. It's a corpse. It's a vessel. The bones begin to dig out of her rougher and rougher, really tearing her apart. Her skin is just kind of flaking on. Bones crash down as they're missing, and its divine luck is protecting Karna because his attacks are getting really strong. She looks over at what's left of Raiko, a corpse that is now filled with bones piercing through it. Her arms and legs were ripped apart from their joints, and long bones pulled her out like a sock puppet. And she shakes her head and says, Kaido, you need to have more respect for the deceased. This is just gross. Kaido says, I won't waver. I'll stand strong and defeat you. I'm the protector of life. And Karna laughs, and she's like, speak honestly. You're full of yourself. Admit how arrogant you are. Protector of life? You? Don't make me laugh. Kaido throws more blades at her. She just dodges them easily, and she says, say it, Kaido. Be honest and admit how arrogant you are. And Kaido screams and releases more bones and goes, I am the strongest. I am Heptaria's strongest. I survived. I am the strongest. And Kaido screams out more as he lets all his emotions. His face, Raiko's face looks like it might cry. She's unable to cry anymore. And Karna says, bye, Kaido. I hope in your next life you're happier. She sighs as a void opens up underneath Raiko as blades just decimate him. Just slice through him, slicing eventually. After all these bones are blocking the swords, one finally gets off and takes Raiko's neck off. The skull is now separated. Now the only bones Kaido can control, since he's centered inside her head, is the neck bones. But it's not good. And Karna stands over him and goes, I hope your soul finds a better life in the next world. And she stabs a paper blade with her own hands, not using them flying, just stabs it down through the brain of Raiko, killing Kaido. There were no thoughts. There were no final words. There was just emptiness. Kaido's soul is absorbed by Karna, and he is just another soul in the process. Karna looks down at the chest, at her own chest, and notices that indeed Kaido landed a big hit through her heart. There's a hole in her, and she snaps, goes, Piacio, bring me full heal. And he brings her full heal, and she heals herself. And Piacio makes a notice saying, wow, that's really what a crazy ending to Kaido's story. I mean, that's amazing. Piacio and Karna begin to have a chat about life. Right after killing Kaido, oh yeah, I'll take Kaido down. Which means she was gone too, because that was whose convict it was. This is really exciting. If you don't know, a lot of people are gonna die. Anyway, they have a chat about life right after killing him. And Piacio shares that as the keeper of all wish cards, he'd really like if Karna would go back on the part of her plan, which involved not including wish cards. And as the wish giver, he'd like to share wishes with the world. That includes people of her new world. And Karna says nah. And says, actually, don't you want to be free? The Wisher's evil. She's pretty confident in it. And she makes a point of bringing up that she believes the Wisher made wishes that created life. At least things that seem like life. And she says, Piacio, to me, you seem like you're alive. And I've met a red dog named Red Alice, and she seemed alive. Aren't you guys alive? What is the point of making you guys alive? Are you just servants to man? And Piacio says he doesn't know, and that he just knows that he has to serve his purpose. And she says that she doesn't get it. Karna doesn't get it. She says that during the Great War, the person who came before Ricky used red dogs and they were slaughtered, like lambs to the slaughter. And aren't they alive? Shouldn't they be treated like real people? Aren't they the same as people? And Piazza says he doesn't have an answer for that. He says that perhaps they're only cheap imitations of humans. Imitations made to feel more friendly, so they look more like people. And Karna says she doesn't think it really matters what they are, but she sees them as human. She says Piaggio and the red dogs and all other wish cards that create things that seem alive are good enough to her. And they have a place, their souls belong in her new world. And Piaggio is blown away as he says, "Are you sure about that?" And she goes, yeah, she's made her final decision. The wish cards are going to end with her. She will be the final person to ever wield Piaggio. She plans to take on the duty of wish card 200 when she makes her new rules. Since now as the wisher she can change the rules, she is going to change the rules and let Piaggio's soul finally rest. He says, "Thank you. I don't know if this is the right decision or what it really means, but I hope your vision is true." And she says, "Thank you," and they open a void to escape the bone dome that they were locked in. It's time to finish up the fight. She creates a large paper blade and climbs on top of it, soaring through the sky like another surfboard, like she's flying around the surfboard like Blade. And she finds Tara and her students. They're surrounded by red dogs. They just finished off fighting a bunch of Foss dolls that had been attracted to them, but the number of red dogs is too many. And she calls out to Tara and knocks away a bunch of red dogs, and all the red dogs pause, because Karna's their leader. And she says, "Tara, would you allow me to reincarnate you if I ask?" And she screams, "Karna!" And she throws a rock at Karna for some reason. It doesn't do any effects, but she goes, "Where's Reiko and her friends?" And Karna's like, "I killed Reiko, Kaido's dead, and the other girls are around, I guess." She mentions that she'd like to find Kirin to fight her, because Kirin seems strong. I feel like in my summary, I have a lot under mentioned how much Kirin in all fights really carries. Kirin is really strong. Anyway, back to the story. Tara's like, "Dang, Kaido's dead," and her face drops. This is the first time she never really realized Kaido could really die, even though this is the third time Kaido has died. Sorry. Karna says, "Yeah, I got his soul in my possession. He'll be reborn in my new world right after I finish off the last few." And Tara says, "Well, are you going to kill everyone?" And Karna says, "No, I don't plan to kill everyone." And Tara's like, "Okay, well, what was the point? What is the point in all this?" And Karna says, "You were never listening to my full plan." Doorway appears behind Karna, and Sasina sticks her head out, as well as Nermosa following her two partners in crime. Three of them are the central piece of this plan, and here they explain it. Sasina here has the ability to create an entire world, and if people reincarnate in this world, we could make a world of our own creation. When I said we'd be creating a world of my own, I really meant a world of my design. We're going to reincarnate everyone into this new world, and since they're reincarnated, it won't really matter if they don't know that they don't know that their world is fictional. This is a fake world I'm going to create, but they won't know it. And Tara says, "You're insane. You can't put everyone inside the Dimensional Palace." And Karna shrugs and goes like, "Well, why not? The Demon Brand have lived there for over 15 years. Why not the rest of them? It's not that big a deal." And there's one thing that she needs Tara to wrap her head around. And she goes, "Well, what is that?" And Karna gives a big smile and goes, "I'm 100% confident there's so much more that are dangerous out there than me. I'm not the most dangerous thing." Remember, Piaggio had said she's the most powerful being in the world. So for Karna to say there's someone even more powerful than her, that's scary. And so Tara's like, "Okay, we'll explain." And Karna explains that the Wisher had come from somewhere outside, the place they call the Foreign Land, outside the Four Lands. If the land of the people like the Wisher exist, they could threaten the entire world. We are just children compared to the adults of the outside world. Their strong, mechanical knowledge is far beyond anything we know. Tara admits, trains and cars are things she doesn't know, but the Wisher knows them. He brought them from somewhere, and that was from a long time ago. They're different from us. Their world and ours are hundreds of years apart, maybe tens of thousands. That's what Karna says. And so Tara asks, "What's the plan? Are you going to kill everyone in the Four Lands?" And Karna says, "No, I'm not." Shakes her head. And Tara says, "Well, okay, why are you hunting us down then? Why are you so focused on killing all of us?" And Karna shrugs and goes that you're my friends, and I want you to see the new world. I want you guys to be happy, and I believe only happiness. I want you guys to experience a better life, and inside my world will be a better life. And Tara freaks. She's like, "Are you kidding? You think you can still call yourself our friend after all you've done? How many people you've killed?" And Karna just says that, look, it's a matter of this is what she had to do. She needed their souls so she could put them into the new world. And Tara screams that you're insane. And again, Karna just admits, like, yeah, I probably am insane. But it's too late to question that now. Terra, I'm gonna force you to be in my world, so you'll just have to forgive me. And Terra says, what are you gonna do? And immediately feels blood splash on her face. She looks down and it's her son Yoshida is dead. Karna's just killed her son. And she goes, Karna, why would you do that? Why? And his soul is absorbed by Karna. And Karna goes, well, don't worry, I'm just going to reincarnate him, so now you got it. And also, he's not the only one. Terra notices that Anna and Red Alice have both been spiked. Spikes of paper blades have killed them. They're both dead. They do get a final word. 1 second, I'll say the final words. But Anna and Red Alice die. And Anna's hand shakes as she looks over to Terra and goes, I'm going to where Saraki is later. And she makes a peace sign before going limp on her spear. Red Alice doesn't get final words. Terra looks behind her to see Akane 6, who is still fast asleep due to Venus's demon brand. And Akane goes, oh shoot, I forgot about her. And is about to hit her when suddenly a doorway opens underneath Akane 6, and Akane is suddenly in Sasina's hands. And Sasina says, I kind of want to keep her alive in the new world. That's cool, right? I mean, she has no real abilities. She posed no threat. Akane shakes her head and says she doesn't mind. Akane is a good person. She wouldn't ruin the world by having memories of her old life. And Terra says, I really don't get it. Why can Akane 6 stay alive and I can't? I mean, Yoshida couldn't. And she says Yoshida was a person raised in this world of hate, while Akane was just like me. We're people who saw the evil of the world and we decided we wanted to do better. I believe in the Akanes. What could one Akane do to my world? Actually, I'd really like Akane 05 as well to work with me, because she looks up to me. She's my apprentice. I love Akane 05. But she loves you, Terra, and she would never betray you. And that's what sucks. Your son's pain was too literal. He would have always looked for past revenge if he had his memories. He needs to be reborn. Your friend Kaido is actually alike. They make a comparison between Yoshida and Kaido. Both of them are born with hatred in their heart after seeing the things the world did. Sorry, they weren't born with hatred, but they've grown to have hatred in their heart. They could never truly be happy with their memories, so they need to start over. And Terra drops to her knees, and she just sits there, breathes real heavy and goes, well, are there beaches in your new world? And Karna, she nods, goes, yeah, they're real warm ones, real clean ones. Why? And Terra in defeat just goes, well, Yoshida always wanted to go to a beach, but apparently the beaches of Akazushimiya are polluted from the war, the Jewel War. The land of the Living Sword had destroyed the beaches they took over and turned them into ports. And the Holy Land of Piacio destroyed their oceans as well. So the ocean is the beaches are ruined. So she'd really love to take Yoshida to a nice beach. And Karna promises her that her beaches are better because they'll never be polluted. And Terra says that's nice. And she asks, well, who's going to be there? We've got Yoshida, Alice, Anna, Akane. Who else would be there? And Karna says, as well as those guys, there's also Toshi, Riki, Cortalica, Saraka, Kaido, the Queen of Heptaria Foss. She was able to find that soul, and Kaido. I said Kaido twice. I don't know why I said Kaido twice. And so Terra asks, well, wait, what about you? Venus and Hesper and the others? And Karna smiles, and she says, I need someone to guide the new world. That's why the people on my side aren't going to be reincarnated. They're instead just going to be dropped into the new world to raise and repopulate. Someone needs to be responsible for the next generation. And then those are who's responsible. It's going to be people raising the new world are going to be Sasina, Mimosa, Hesper, and Venus. And Sasina speaks up and goes, actually, it's going to be a surprise guest, that girl Kirin. And, and Karna turns around and is like, huh? And Sasina's like, yeah, I when I pulled her in, I kind of lost her. I don't know where she went. She's somewhere in my world and I can't find her. She's hiding. And Karna's like, whatever. One girl can't do that much. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. But Terra points out what's going to happen to you. And Karna says someone has to activate the divine palace and divine reincarnation. And says she's just going to live in this world for a while. She's going to set it up with Piacio so Piacio is free, and is also going to make it so the dimensional palace never closes. She's going to hide the single wish card in the world being dimensional palace, and it's going to be hidden somewhere where it just stays active, keeping them all in the safety of this world. She'll also go around and collect up all the wish cards she can and destroy them. And Terra begins to sniffle and cry. She realizes that Karna's plan does not involve Karna getting to be happy. Karna plans to be the sacrificial lamb who has to live in this world forever, but is able to give the rest of the world a happiness. And Karna assures her she'll visit sometimes. She can enter into the divine palace, but she feels that this world is going to be a place of beauty, and Karna feels herself is someone of sin. She's a sinful creature who cannot exist in the perfect world. It's better if she stays outside. Terra begs Karna, let me be one of the people who raises the next generation. And Karna's like, wait, I mean, you were forced into slavery at a young age. Are you sure you want to hold on to those memories? And she says, welcome aboard, Terra, you're on. And they shake hands. And then Karna makes an interesting point. She's like, hey, well, since you're going to raise people, your first child, let's make it Yoshida. I can reincarnate his soul into your body. And she puts the soul inside of, she'll put the soul inside of Terra, so when she has her firstborn child, it will be the soul of Yoshida. And Terra cries because she's so excited that her adopted son can now be her true blood son. And Karna says, you know what, I killed him, it's the least I can do. Again, Terra says there's something really messed up with you, Karna. And Karna, without much direction, just goes, yeah, there's something very messed up about me. And they shrug it off. Karna turns to her two companions and says, well, that should do it for now. Girls, you may hand over your divine wish cards and go live in your new happy world. And I take it Hesper and Venus have already begun, and Hermosa giggles and says, yes, they're really excited about creating the new generation, part of raising the next generation. Wink, wink. Karna laughs, of course they did. Venus and Hesper not wasting any time getting onto that train. Left their trains behind, they're onto a different train. Sorry, that didn't mean to be, actually sounds dirty, that sounds dirty. I didn't mean it like that. Hesper leaves his demon brand, that is a train, and hops on the train of having kids. I did not mean it in a sexual way, that's super embarrassing, sorry. Forget that. Terra thought of her other companions and says, so Karna, where is Akane 05 and Jamaku? And Karna face drops and says, shoot, I forgot about them. And Sasina asks if she needs to stick around, and Karna says, nah, go ahead. I'd love to add Akane 05 and Jamaku to the list of people birthed in the new generation. Sasina, go ahead and take care of Akane 06 and do whatever you want to do in the new world. Sasina smiles, pats Terra on the back as she passes her demon brand to Karna. Karna's gotten stronger. Hermosa follows and she throws her demon wish card to Karna, kind of like a shuriken. She just throws it, and Karna catches it. She treats this, and I mean, Hermosa's ability is to literally, reincarnate people. That should be treated a little more holy, but it's just Hermosa's last showing that she really never cared about being a divine. Karna opens up a doorway and to the Dimensional Palace, and Sasina walks through along with Hermosa. They go into the new world. Before Hermosa leaves, she whispers into Terra's ear, if you're looking for a man, my younger brother's only 10 right now, but he's going to grow into a great suitor. Terra laughs and says, yeah, fat chance. Hermosa's like, hey, can't blame me. Can't blame me for trying. Can't blame me for trying. Just saying. My 10-year-old brother is going to be super hot one day. Super weird, because Terra's like 20-something. But hey, no judge. New world. Karna creates a void, and along with Terra, her and Terra head down to the base of the flower, where they find Jamaica and Akane 05. And they're just lying there together, watching the clouds, waiting to die, because they assume they're going to die. Terra cries out, hey Akane, what's going on, as they come down to the ground. Jamaica sarcastically goes, dang, you really had to show up and ruin my time with Akane, huh? And Terra says, well, don't worry, because you're going to have a lot of time together. Thumbs up. She looks to Akane 05 and says, what do you say about living in your former mentor's world, Akane? And Karna left me with a little no choice. She's won me over a bit. Would you like to do it? And Akane is ecstatic that she can go with her old master. She trusted Karna, was just going against Karna because, she loves Terra. Oh yeah, where are the students? Did you slaughter them? Is what Akane needs to know. And Akane 05 is sad to hear that, yeah, Karna killed him, but it's no big deal. They're going to reincarnate. Akane asks what's in it for them to go with them and not die. And, Karna says, well, you two can raise the next generation. A new world, free of pain, and the tainted world. Sounds cool. And immediately, Akane says, well, I do like the sound of a pure world, but before she can say anything else, Gemma climbs to his feet and jumps up, fist bump, and goes, raise the next generation together with Akane and me? Deal. No takebacks. No takebacks. And Akane goes, Jamaku! I didn't say I was agreeing yet. And she kicks him in the shoes. And Jamaku crouches down to get at her level and goes, Akane, you know I love you. Honestly, I'm the happiest guy in the world right now, just getting to lie between your thighs, watching the sky. But right now, I'd love to do more. And Akane gives him another sweep kick, kicks him in the face, knocks him to the ground. She goes, fine, I'll go. Just stop saying embarrassing things. And Jamaku gets off the ground and goes, good deal, as he checks to make sure his teeth are all there. Kana opens up a door to the new world and says, go inside, pick whatever house you want. I know it's a little cheating for a new world, but I didn't think we needed to do the whole settler, build your own houses. So I just kind of built a bunch of houses around my new world, and just inside there's going to be a little gift from me. They jump in, they do an air pump, sick, and the two of them enter into the new world. And as they leave, Jamaka can be heard telling Akane all about how exciting it is, and they're going to get a whole mansion. They're going to find the biggest mansion they can. And Akane's like, okay, we don't need a mansion. Oh my gosh. Side note, if this story has interested you before you get to the end, I just want you to know, if you like Akane and Janko, they're my favorite couple. The Christmas cards every year are the two of them, usually. Sometimes Venus and Hesper as well. But since the publication started in 2020, it's either been Hesper and Venus were the first year's Christmas, New Year's Christmas card. 2021 and 22 have both had New Year's cards that have the start of the new year. Have had Jamaka and Akane 05. They are my favorite couple, and we'll get more into them. They get a little more. That's not the final showing. I just want to say I really like them. Yeah, I really like Akane 05 and Jamaka. I like them a lot. They're a goofy couple. We'll get into more of them in a second, sorry. I just want to make a side tangent. If it's been interested, there's a lot of art of them. In this video series, I thought it was going to include art, but it's just a lot of editing, and these editing videos are already taking days to edit, so there's not really any editing. Just rendering them. Anyway, they decide they need to go find Izumi. They left Izumi somewhere in the ground, and they find him, and they say, hey champ, what's up? We're going to reincarnate you so you can be with the girl you like. And he's a little annoyed that Terra's betrayed them. Terra says she didn't betray them. It's just a better deal. And everyone's dead, so you don't really have a solution. He said he'd rather... Karna says, hey, I'd rather you actually don't have to be reincarnated, but you're just cool, and we put you in the new world. See, the people I put in the new world, there's a very low amount of men. A lot of the men in this world already have people they're in love with, so let's hope you could join. And he says he'll never exist in a world without his love. And she goes, sure. Well, if I can bring Reiko back to life, will you come to the new world? And he goes, you can bring her back? And she goes, yeah, of course I can. The body's a little beat up, but I'll do it. You've seen puppet strings firsthand. They're like the greatest sewing machine in the world. And so she collects Reiko's corpse and begins to sew it up, filling the holes. As she's filling it up and beginning to pour souls into it to bring Reiko's soul back, because she caught it, because again, any souls in the area were absorbed by Karna. Terra whispers, hey, are you going to tell Izumi about the cost of 99 souls? What souls are you using, anyway? And Karna shrugs off and says, Genopian souls. I'm just getting some Genopian souls. It's not a big deal. Also, he doesn't need to know 99 people's souls are being destroyed. It's notable that if these souls are destroyed, they cannot be reincarnated. 99 people don't get to live in the new world, just randomly picked by Karna, just so some boy can get the girl he likes back. Anyway. They open a void, and they pick up the body, and they make sure, it's noted that Karna has to make sure, double check, triple check, that she does not put Kaido's soul back inside this body. She does not want Kaido to have a free body again. She makes sure that Reiko is put back in the body, and reinstalls him, and hands Reiko off to Izumi, who holds her, and says, all yours, champ. And Karna steps away from Reiko as they open a doorway to the Dimensional Palace for their joyous reunion. Izumi leaps to the ground, wrapping his hands around Reiko. He held her close, feeling the warmth of her body return. He says, Reiko, you came back, you really did it. I'll never let anyone hurt you again, I promise. And tears drip from his face onto Reiko's face. And he says, it's all over, Reiko. We can enjoy a happy life together, just the three of us. Our dreams can come true. And the first thing Reiko asks is, where's Kirin? And Izumi says, well, hey, she's somewhere in the new world, but no, we'll find her. I'll tell you about everything after the battle later. And Reiko goes, oh, okay, she wakes up. And it's time for Izumi to finally get to tell Reiko what he wanted to tell her before the battle. He says, I love you, Reiko. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. When we're together, I feel happy. Anytime I'm sad, you bring me right back from the darkness. Reiko would make me the happiest being in the universe if you'd marry me and spend the rest of our life together. I understand if you don't feel the same way, but after everything we've been through, I really hope that my feelings can at least be heard. And Reiko looks up at him and goes, where's Kaido? And it's like, oh, don't ruin the moment, Reiko. And Izumi's face drops, and he's like, he's no longer part of you. And Reiko asks, well, where is he? And Karna's still there, so she points at her head and goes, he's right in here. He's safe. He's going to be reincarnated. You don't have to worry about it. And Reiko asks, is this something Kaido wanted? And Karna laughs and goes, it doesn't matter. His sins corrupted his soul. He was a creature of only the lust of battle and revengeance. It wasn't worth it. In his mind, there was no coming back, so it's better for him. And Reiko says, dang. And Izumi looks at her, wondering what's going to happen next. And she turns to Izumi and goes, well, you better treat me better than he did. And Izumi's shocked and goes, is that a yes? And Reiko leaps into his arms, headbutting him, and they share a quick kiss. And Reiko pulls back and goes, be my new guardian angel, Izumi. And he goes, I promise, I'll never let you go again. And they hug each other in their arms as Karna yawns, getting bored of seeing a loving expression. And she kicks at them and goes, get in there, you lovebirds, and drops them off in the new world. Terra, after they drop them off, Terra goes, well, I guess I'll be going and heading in too. And Karna says, sure, let's go to the new world. I need to come too to release the souls. Terra asks, what's going to happen to the souls? Are they just going to hang around in the new world waiting for vessels? And Karna says, I guess. Whatever happens to these souls, they're going to be reborn as babies. I might have to continue to even harvest people from the old world to keep the soul going, because I don't know if people are going to be able to get pregnant in the new world without souls. She's not really fuzzy on what's going to happen, but she knows these souls are going to find their way into babies. The first couple thousand babies, 100% are going to just be dead people's souls. But they have no memories of their old lives. That's important to note. None of them remember their old lives. So even the Demon Brand members aren't going to remember who they were. They enter the new world and they pour out this smoke. Smoke fills it as the stock fills. People are finally going to be free of their lives. And we get to the final chapter. Echoes and Dandelions is the final chapter. It's like an epilogue as we have to find out what happened to everyone. First, we have Karna and Terra emerge through as they begin to release those souls. Karna looks down on a village and says, I don't know, I should have dropped everyone in the same place. I kind of just dropped people off in this new world across the country. So a country maybe the size of this world has been refilled with people randomly. Just random villages are just sitting empty with food in them. But she goes, oh well, she can't do anything about it now. She releases the smoke. Purple smoke fills as souls fly around. People from Rinoes, Akazushimeans, Heptarians, Demon Brand students, Red Dogs, Kaido, so many more. Karna turns to Terra and finally sticks that soul of Yoshida inside her. And Terra cries and goes, you really meant it when you said you'd put the soul inside of me. She goes, yeah, now whenever you're ready to find a nice husband in this new world, you can have Yoshida. And she's excited about it. And before Karna leaves her, she says, Karna, wait. Karna turns around, she says, thank you. And Karna rolls her eyes and says, don't stop me for something stupid like that, brushes it off and leaves back to the real world. Terra sits there for a little bit in the new world. She takes some time to relax among the wildflowers. Once she's ready, she gets up, goes down to the bottom of the hill, and finds an empty village. One by one, she admires the village and wonders where this village came from. If it's an original idea of Karna's, or is this a village that maybe Karna massacred at some point during the Jewel War / her invasion of the People's Land. After a few hours of house hunting, she finds a house and enters the house and finds crates and crates full of storage. She opens them and finds dry cooking ingredients. The next box has towels and clothing. Another one is clothing. The next has fruits and vegetables. One has firewood for a fireplace. And she finds a note, and the note says, welcome to the new world. Now that you've chosen a home, I'd like to give you a housewarming gift. This will help you settle in as you get used to your new life. Let the darkness never find their way into our new homes. Signed, Karna. And it's like, dang, Karna, you must have gone really above and beyond to prepare all of this for the rest of us, and you never let us know. Who knows how long Karna had been planning this whole thing. This wasn't a spur of the moment. Her and her conspirators built this beautiful thing. Hundreds of miles away from where Terra is, Venus and Hesper have already begun living together in a house in a group of lower mountains. The two of them are free to express their love for each other in the deepest way possible, is how the book says it. And then there was Izumi, Izuzu, and Raiko. I keep calling her Izumi. That comes up later. That's actually his real name, but he goes by Izuzu. Sorry, that's a little thing. I don't think I ever mentioned when I call him Izumi, it's because that's his male name. Izuzu is the female name. A lot of the book is written using the female name just because he goes by Izuzu. Respect his preferred name. The two of them have found themselves near a beach. They walk along the ocean and come to a beach town. Once they enter inside, they find Nermosa and her 10-year-old brother Trafa. And they decide they're going to join this village. So there are two couples living in this village. And it's noted that Nermosa makes a joke that she's totally up for polygamy if the two of them want to invite her into their love life. Which Raiko shuts down and Nermosa swears she was only kidding. As night comes that night, Izumi climbs into bed next to Raiko, and he says that he's so embarrassed, he can't believe this is true. And Raiko points out that we slept together all the time when we were kids, and he goes, well, this is different, because this time I can express my love for you. And they tease, and they have a pillow fight, and
They're excited to start their new lives together, free of worries. Both of them completely forgetting about all their worries. The only worry left is finding Kieran. Kieran is somewhere out there. Kieran had ended up a few hundred miles away from where they are. She had no idea if her friends were out there in the new world or not, but she crossed her fingers praying they were both safe. During her search, she had run into Akane 05 and Jamaku, here they come back, who had at this point had a child. Over the next year of Kieran searching, the two of them, basically immediately in this new world, got to work having a kid. Had a kid. This kid is a half-year-old and is named Kiki. Kiki is spelled K-I-C-C-I, which is the spelling of Ricky with a K. I guess you don't get to see the spelling a lot of all these characters. All the characters have weird spelling names. Ricky's spelled wrong. But it is named a combination of the word Karna, Akane 05's master, and Ricky, her younger teammate. They've named their child in the honor of the two of them. Akane 05 and Jamaku are gleed and excited to find someone else and tell Kieran that the fighting is over and tell him that her friends are out there. So Kieran is happy to know that her friends are somewhere out there, and she decides to travel along with them. And during their travels, looking for wherever Izumi and Reiko are, Kieran begins to make a map, because she believes the new world is going to need a map, kind of like this map, but a better map to tell where everyone settled up and where everyone is. And the four of them, including the child, venture off into the new world. Sasina is somewhere out in a nice forest. She's made herself a log cabin. She likes the sound of nature, and the deer will occasionally come up to her house during her walks. But she wasn't alone. Akane 6 is still with her. Before Karna could kill her, for some reason Sasina had the urge to save Akane 6. And Akane 6 is not letting this debt be undone. The two of them are living in some kind of strange relationship. Sasina doesn't really know what to do anymore. She's still stuck drowning in the feelings for Jiro. She doesn't know if she can really live a happy life now, just enjoying nature and kind of just being sad still, because Jiro's dead. Akane 6, on the other hand, very much full of her, she knows what her feelings are, and she's not planning to leave Sasina anytime soon. And Sasina really couldn't bring herself to kick Akane 6 out, so their weird relationship is stuck. And Sasina was sure she would never give in to Akane's feelings, but at the same time, they're the only two people for miles. So the two of them are living together. Everyone else across the land is beginning to create their homes, making new lives for themselves, and just plain enjoying life. Even from the outside, the Dimensional Palace, Karna can feel it. She doesn't understand how Sasina had always been such a sad person, when from the outside of the Dimensional Palace, you can feel the happiness inside the Dimensional Palace. Karna has sat herself up in a cave. She's in a cave working on her experiments to keep the wish card activated at all times. She had some ideas, but she knew she had to do it. The outside world has taken a turn for the worse. Since Heptaria and Atsushimiya have both fallen, Genopus has basically conquered both lands and is beginning to approach onto Rainobu. Rainobu and Genopus are the only countries left, and Genopus is ginormous. Rainobu does no plan to oppose them, but Genopus hasn't fully invaded them yet, but they are allowing them to creep in. Genopus seems to be working on large-scale weapons to attack the outside world. That's right, Genopus is finally making plans to invade the outside world. They are experimenting with Alco technology, an artificial wish card, but all wish cards began to stop working when Karna deactivated all wish cards, which means Genopus have to abandon all the research they've done with Akazusha Miya and with the Holy Land. All the research they've done with wish card technology is ruined. They have to go back to just large-scale weapons. Weapons that you can find in our world. Our world has the weapons that Genopus uses. They are planning to invade the whole world, but Karna doesn't really care. All Karna knows is their souls ain't going inside her world, because they are not people she likes. They're corrupt, she feels. Karna ignores them for the most part. She continues to hide, and eventually she only cares about saving the people inside her world and never letting the divine card deactivate. Her last life goal is, if she could, was to keep it active for all time. She got up after coming up with a new plan, leaving the decaying building that she'd been living in, and has some new thoughts. Sorry, that was a weird sentence, but it was just, I was trying to summarize what this passage is. Anyway, time passes, and the divine dimensional palace never closes. So she must have succeeded in finding a solution. Now we jump 553 years inside the dimensional palace, which, should be noted, time moves differently there. So that is not saying 500 years have moved outside this world, but inside 500 years have passed. And I did not summarize the first chapter too extremely well, so it should be noted, this ending passage I'm about to read is a one-for-one retelling of the first chapter's beginning. It is the 5th of June, a normal day for most. A sunny day with light clouds in the sky, in the center of a different town's name than the one from the first chapter. Many families are enjoying the park and getting fresh air. And for one boy, Kaido, it is his 15th birthday. It's an incredible happy day for him as he wakes up and sees his family and his sisters preparing exciting day activities for him. In the first chapter, Kaido has no one preparing birthday things for him. He sneaks out of his house before he can even see if his parents are going to do anything for him. So in this one, his sister's there. He comes downstairs, waking up, and is greeted by his sister Akane, who's made pancakes for him. His parents are at the table, excited to celebrate his birthday. After some birthday fun in the morning, Kaido and Akane leave their home to go in to get a cake in town. While going through the town square, Akane sits down to enjoy some snacks they bought together, and Kaido runs up to a big silver bell that tells the story of the recreation of the story of their world's creation, which is the bell that told nothing happens. Piacio doesn't appear, just to show this is a different world. The two of them head back home, agreed by their parents, and who have since they left prepared everything, including everything except for the cake that they picked up. They go into the kitchen and they light candles for Kaido, and they say, "Is there anything you wish for, Kaido? It's your birthday, so you can wish for anything." Kaido looks at the candles, searching his brain. He then looks at his family, waiting for a response. "Nope, I already have everything I could ever wish for." He looks over at his older sister Akane and goes, "What would you wish for?" Akane giggles, "I'd wish that every day could be as happy as this." "That's a good wish, let's go with that." And with that, Kaido blows out his candles, and the final sentence of the story is, "Who needs 200 wishes when you've already got everything you could ever want?" And that is how the end of 200, that's how 200 wishes ends. That is the end. Kaido and Akane are together again. Kaido got what the beginning of the adventure was all about, was becoming the Wish King and finding his sister. Well, now he's in a perfect world where he has his sister, and wish cards don't exist. Now, no number was reincarnated, so maybe she really was the real Akane, because that Akane is not Akane 5 or 6. So since there was only one more Akane, we can assume that Akane really was the real one, or it's just some random other girl reincarnated into the body of Akane, and it's just a coincidence. But there we go. That was 200 wishes. I am real excited to be done, because this is a really big project. This is really stressful, honestly. I've spent 6 days just waking up, making PowerPoints. This PowerPoint is 1,100 something slides long. I bought all this paper, and it's really cool, you know? We did it. We did it, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for it. It should be noted, there are some characters on that other board that we never get to find out the fates of. But I will tell you that Tez, Xena, Chloe, Tracy, Alco, I think that's it. And Jupiter and Neo are part of the sequel story. There is a sequel that maybe one day will come out. There's one chapter of it. If you want to go to the website where 200 Wishes was published, there's a single chapter to introduce the idea. But that book is in my style of writing, where I write one chapter and just think about if I really want to write more. And so right now it's just a one-shot to enter into, to get some suspense, to build up some hype for the second novel. Will the second novel ever come out? I cannot say it will. There's a lot of other series that I have a lot more passion for. Honestly, it makes me really emotional to look back on 200 Wishes. It was my first series I ever wrote, and the fact that it went for 68 chapters and is compiled of over 1,000 pages is kind of insane to me. Especially if you take it from paperback, like paper that you print on, and turn it into book layer. I don't know how many books you could separate the arcs into. Yeah, I've always wondered what it'd be like to print out the story. I've never done it. I just know it's over 1,000 pages according to Google Docs. Yeah, I do wonder if it would be fun to do this again with one of the other series, which more concrete lore. Looking back, we can see a lot of the timeline's really confusing, honestly, of 200 Wishes. There's a lot of jumping back. The Jewel War beginning and ending is a little confusing. I assume it ends pretty relatively towards where the story starts, but other characters sometimes assume the Jewel War ended sooner than that, or began sooner. I don't know. I can't tell you how long the Jewel War ended. It was my first series, and I didn't use a timeline. Future books use timelines, where I wrote down the years that things happen. The spiritual successor, AI Circuits Kyoko. Every chapter tells you what year it takes place in, so that you could never again get confused about the timeline, because I felt readers had trouble understanding the timeline. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to read the whole series, there are bits I left out, so you could skim through it. Story-wise, I didn't really leave anything out, but character talking. So if there are more conversations you want to hear more about, or like moments you can tell there was more talking and more love, you could jump to the arc from what that chapter was. And I mean, I listed maybe an idea what the chapters are, so yeah, I'm not going to say it's easy, but yeah. I'm just blown away that this project has come to an end. I thought maybe this was a dumb idea when I made the first video. I mean, before I made the first one. But after I made it, I felt passionate. I was like, you know what, this is going to work. It is quite something. I'm a little blown away. I know I'm rambling on, but this is my end. So I just want to thank anyone who actually watched even one of these videos to find out how the series ends. Even if you just jumped to the final one and are just confused what's going on, thank you for joining me on this adventure. This adventure is crazy. And there's a lot of things left up to interpretation. As in, the creation of the new world could possibly be the first being, Sanachi. What he wanted from this world, is that what he was hoping Aoko would create? Aoko might still be up there. You'll note, I did not take him down. There's no proof Aoko or Yuko is dead. Both of them are out there somewhere. So maybe there's something Sanachi sees into the future. I cannot say. I believe there are more events that Sanachi has planned for the body of Aoko, Kenya's body, but that would be in the sequel series. I'm rambling on. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go